I'm going to do a couple different things. I guess the first thing I'm going to do today is make a new battery pan for this old tractor style lawnmower that doesn't cut grass anymore. I use it for hauling this spray tank around. My battery pan this was my battery pan, and it's done. So I'm going to make a new one. I'm not going to buy one. Spend who knows how much, 20, 30 bucks for it, and wait for it to get here. And I'm just going to make one. It'll take me an hour or so. And the solenoid is sitting out here because I got to replace that. I got a new one sitting here. I'm going to replace the solenoid, and it mounts in a funny position on this tractor underneath here. It mounts to these screws right there from underneath the battery pan there. These small machines always need not always, but they all use the same type of solenoid, and it's a regular fix. It has to be done. But I am going to make this battery pan, and so I got a tape measure out here. Here's the battery. This is a bigger battery than what's supposed to be in there, but it works. It's a little stronger. Looks like we can go up to 7 inches on that, but we don't have 7 inches here. I already measured. We got a shaft right there, and the shaft is 6 inches to the bottom of here, but this is going to be hanging on top up here. So the 6 inches will still work, because with that hanging on top, we'll still have a 1/4 to 1/2 inch below that pan without where it won't hit that shaft. So that's our depth, and the length is about 8 inches. One of the companies that I deliver to on my driving job, they have a dumpster for scrap drops when they have trimmings, and a lot of times the forklift that brings all the scrap out in a hopper and throws it in the dumpster, they miss and it falls out on the ground. Not all of it, but bits and pieces fall on the ground, and they've given me permission to just keep myself in stock with just a few bits and pieces that are just laying on the ground under the scrap dumpster. And I pulled a piece out of this stash, and it's this piece right here. It is just under 4 inches, 3 7/8 inches wide. So I guess if I make 2 identical pieces side by side, that'll give me my 8 inches for the length that we have here of the battery. And then the width, of course, we have plenty of length on that to make the width. So it's looking like the plan is going to be to make 2 pieces side by side, and I'm just going to fold like this, and then just a little lip on each side there. So, but this is thick. It's 1/8 inch metal. Well, of course, it'll never end, so it'll never rot or go bad on me. But I don't have anything thinner that is convenient to work with. I do have a thinner piece, but it's a large sheet, and I don't want to be cutting that much on it. It'd be easier to just fold this heavier stuff, make 2 of them side by side, stick them together. We'll just do that. Looks like there's going to have to be a change of plans already, because the width of this hole is just barely over 5 inches. It's about 5 3/16 inches on the outside. So it would have to be this super thin foil-like paper sheet metal that rotted away in order for it to fit in there, because the battery is just a hair under 5 inches. It's 4 15/16. So if I used 1/8 inch metal, I'm going to have a 1/4 inch loss with the 1/8 inch on each side. I'll have a 1/4 inch loss in between. The battery's not going to fit in there. In between it'll be too tight. So I measured the other direction. Lengthwise we have 8 inches. We have over 8 inches. We have 8 1/4 inches. The battery at its widest point, which I'm not even going to be that high, is up here with this rivet on the top. 7 3/4. So I got an extra 1/2 inch of space going this way, and I only need an extra 1/4 inch. So I'm going to make it drop down this way. Instead of dropping in here and over and then back up, I'm going to go lengthwise and do that. The only thing is, we got to have room for these cables to come up out of there and go to the battery. Well, we don't really have to have this hold down strap. That's just a nuisance. We can bring the cable batteries up through that. Well, it won't be long enough, but we'll work it out. I'll just notch this out on that side. I'll make it work. Always do. This is my handy little welding table. It's just a piece of C-channel, about 16 inches, I guess. Let me measure it and see. I don't think I ever did measure that. It's 18 inches. And it is cut off square, so that's handy. Just clamp this little piece of sheet metal on here, and I'm leaving about 3/4 of an inch. I don't care exactly how long it is, just enough to fold it over. So yeah, I got that clamped on right there on both ends so that it doesn't move, and I'm going to go on ahead and heat that up with a torch and fold it over. Someday I am going to make a brake for folding metal, just with a long lever. Same thing again, except this time got it flipped over. Why won't this thing rotate? There it goes. Got it flipped over, and I measured 6 inches from here to the edge of this where I'm going to fold it down. And that should give me enough room. We got about 6 3/8 inches maximum space from underneath this lip to the bottom of this when it folds down underneath. This is going to be the outside of it. So, ready to heat it up and fold that over. Well, you saw me fold this one. I'm not going to do both on the video. Now I have this chunk of channel iron that I use for a welding table. I have it sitting on top of a couple of concrete blocks because I need the space under here. And I think I've got this measured out right now to the 8 inches that I need. And then we just square it off right here on the edge so I don't have to measure for square. Nothing has to be perfect on this job. It's just a little thing to hold the battery. And of course, this is going to hit the ground as soon as I start folding it, so when I do, then I'll have to flip this thing over and do it sideways from then on. Fold it over this way. There we have it. Just like I said, when it was laying up here, I started to fold it over just to get that line started. Took it off, laid it sideways, quickly put this C-clamp on this side to keep it square, and then I went on and finished folding it over while it was cooling down. Now I'm going to dunk it in some water. Got a 5-gallon bucket of water over here just out of view of the camera. This thing's starting to get warm. I'm going to dunk this too. This will be my last fold. Got this measured 6 inches from the back of this to the edge of this, so that it'll fold over 6 inches on the underside of that, just like this one is. Fold that over and then we'll cut that off when it's done. Got it ready to cut. I'm going to use this as a guide for my torch, so I cut a fairly straight line. All I gotta do is clean that up a little bit and put it in there. Looks like a pretty good fit to me. Let's try putting the battery in it. Very good. Nice fit.